Well, goodbye Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2. It's certainly been something to behold. Let's talk about what I liked first. So for me, the season highlight was Episode 3, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, where La'an, Noonien Singh and Kirk go back in time to save the future. And the time travel episode is a classic Trek subgenre. It's something that's been done over and over again, but it was executed well. The two lead actors had great chemistry, the plot was good enough to hold it together, they even poked fun at some of the continuity errors that have emerged over the long life of the franchise. So a definite thumbs up for that. Also, I thought the fourth episode was solid. Pike and La'an and Mbenga get stuck on a planet and lose their memories. Ortega's got a little bit of screen time here, but she's been a disappointing character, no fault of the actress, just extremely underwritten. The other episode that impressed me was episode 8, Under the Cloak of War, where Mbenga has to deal with his past actions during the Klingon War. Mbenga is probably overall my favourite character of the show. Apparently the actor himself is into martial arts, and I think that's been incorporated into the show in a way that makes sense. Absolute thumbs up for episode 8 and Mbenga. Also, bit of a thumbs up for Paul Wesley as Kirk as well. I think he's been a qualified success. When we think of Kirk, we often think of the caricature of Shatner hamming it up like this.
I'm a rocket man. Rocket man.
But if you go back and have a look at some clips of the original series, for example, in Balance of Terror, he's quite restrained as an actor. And
Scotty, I've already talked to my engine room, so we'll get more speed out of her.
Paul Wesley captures something of this in his performance. So while the mere fact of Kirk's presence is a bit awkward to write around, I don't think Paul Wesley is as bad as some people are making out. So that's what I like about the show. What don't I like? I'm not going to go episode by episode. It's easier to go by character. First of all, Pike. Anson Mount is the reason this show exists, and he's been relegated to Spock's straight man and to chopping vegetables. It's really disappointing. I want to see him do stuff. I want to see him do Star Trek-y stuff. Why is he just a chef? I don't get it at all. And then there's Spock, who's apparently just the comedy fodder of the series, who we're supposed to take seriously in terms of his future and his relationship with Chapel, but who says things like this.
Smoky and salty and sweet and soft and crispy all at the same time.
And I'm sorry, I just can't take that seriously. As I've said in a previous video, number one still just exists to be a victim. She takes no action. In the Lower Decks crossover, it turns out that she's the poster woman for Starfleet for recruiting. Okay, but why is she the poster woman for recruiting for Starfleet? What has she actually done to deserve this? It's such a waste of a great actress. Then there's Chapel. We find out she's a war veteran. Okay, show me more about that. That sounds interesting. She's got her archaeological fellowship stuff. Show me more about that. That sounds interesting. But the show doesn't. It just turns everything in her story back to Spock. She just exists, according to the people who write this show, in reference to Spock. It's really frustrating. And as much as I like the character, as much as she was in my favourite episode, it's the same story for La'an. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow was my favourite episode, and at the end of that episode, they leave a lingering shot on the watch that she procured from the 21st century. And the only reason that that watch was put in there was so it could be referred back to during Subspace Rhapsody, where La'an's plot is only about her relationship with Kirk. So again, a female character existing related to a man. Pelia, what has she done? What has she done? Maybe I've missed something. Why waste Carol Kane in a role like this? And Uhura. Again, I really want to like the character, but for example, episode 6, Pike destroys an entire space station for no reason other than Uhura tells him to. A starship captain destroys a space station on the word of an ensign and no other evidence. This is baffling. Makes no sense to me. Now, Star Trek has been around as a franchise for almost 60 years, and I understand that things change. New people get their hands on it. They're going to change stuff. That's just how life is. For example, the Terminator and the Alien franchises. The first two movies are the only good ones. Some franchises, only the first movie is good. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Matrix, The Mummy, Jaws, one good movie for each. And the later movies, the movies that are rubbish, the fact they exist doesn't hurt the fact that I really love the initial one or two movies. It doesn't take away from the earlier stuff. So, if the people in charge of the Star Trek franchise want to make an animated Rick and Morty clone set in the future of the franchise, then I might think it's annoying, but really I don't care. If someone wants to make an animated series with teenage aliens and throw in a few legacy characters, again, I'm disinterested. I'm never going to watch Star Trek Prodigy, but I don't really mind that it exists. But if the current creators are sufficiently arrogant or sufficiently lacking in creativity that they rake up the original legacy characters and show that they're incapable of writing them, then obviously fans are going to be unhappy about that and they're going to have things to say. The original series of Star Trek was made by harder and more experienced people. World War II veterans. Gene Roddenberry was a cop on the streets of Los Angeles. People who'd led other lives before they went into the entertainment industry. If you're interested, look up the names of the people who appear on the title page of Strange New Worlds. I wasn't able to find any evidence that they've ever done anything except work in the entertainment industry. One of the abominations that they're responsible for is the George Clooney Batman and Robin, which is the only film where I've ever left the cinema and felt that I was actually ripped off by the ticket price. Then, of course, you could come at it from the angle that it says created by. What's actually been created here? The Enterprise? No. The characters? No. So the creators of Strange New Worlds have made their careers with sequels, reboots and remakes, so it's not surprising that what they make is stale and unoriginal. These are people who go to school, they go to college or university, and then straight away they go to the entertainment industry. They have no other adult experience, other experience of the world to draw on when they make movies or TV. So how do they write people? They write them like children. They write them like college students or university students. Let's have a look at Subspace Rhapsody. At the beginning of episode 9, before the credits, we get reminded of Pike's relationship with Patel. We get reminded of La'an's relationship with Kirk and of Spock's relationship with Chapel. It's all about the personal relationship, which is a big part of people's lives. This is supposed to be a show about exploring the universe. Some of these characters are supposed to be war veterans. It's not set in a high school like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But honestly, they feel like Buffy characters. The characters in Strange New Worlds are emotionally immature. They're obsessed with personal relationships. They lack the ability to take things seriously. They lack the ability to show other adults respect. If you're doing this in a new show that you created with the Star Trek brand on it, I don't really mind. If you're doing it to legacy characters, it just shows how untalented the people who create this are. Are we really expected to believe that 22 years after Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, the swan song of the original cast, the people who are making Star Trek can't make a show unless it involves Spock and Uhura and Kirk? Are they really that creatively bankrupt? Well, it's not only creative problems, it's also financial problems as well, depending on how much money you believe they're losing on their streaming services. What do Paramount have? They have Star Trek, they have Yellowstone. That's pretty much it. So there's going to be lots more Star Trek. All the Star Trek you want, probably some you don't want as well. Which is fine. Make more Star Trek. I don't mind. Leave the old stuff alone. Move forward. Think about Picard Season 3. We saw the old cast, but at the end, there was 7 of 9, and Raffi, and Jack Crusher. Looking forward to the future. And isn't that what Star Trek is about? It's about hope, and about the future. Thanks for watching.